After tonight's event, we will be halfway in the 2023 Turkey Hill Truck Series, and we head to the racing capital of the world. No, not at the Speedway, but about 7 miles northwest of said Speedway. This is the Indianapolis Raceway Park, the shortest race of the season. Only 50 laps for these drivers here tonight around the 0.686 mile Speedway in Brownsburg, Indiana. It's the Lucas Oil 200 here from IRP in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. Hello everybody, this is AG here and welcome to the Lucas Oil Raceway Park, Indianapolis Raceway Park, whatever they call it now. I just call it IRP, Indianapolis Raceway Park. We're just going to keep it like that, keep it simple. We're going to have a fun race here tonight on a Friday night here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. And like I said, halfway through the season after this race is complete. And I also mentioned this is the shortest race of the season as well. Only 50 laps here tonight. This race is a little bit below 30 miles in length, or maybe just a little bit above. I'm not doing the math in my head right now, but still, the shortest race of the season for these guys, so not much time to work your way from the back to the front. And also, this is a short track where passing is difficult. We will have a cycle of pit stops here tonight, however, about a 29 to 30 lap fuel run here in this race. We are not going to have a mid-race break, so if we remain green up to that point, they will be green flag pit stops. Joined alongside Matt Tuck for the call of tonight's event. And Matt, one of the last short track races we had here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series, your driver Noah Clifton went to victory lane. You got your driver Blaine Key starting 5th here tonight. What does he need to do here to get this Lucas Oil 200 race victory?
Luckily for him, starting on the bottom, it'll be a little bit easier. We know the bottom lane of these short tracks is always the way to go, but it's just pick them off all one by one. There's only 4 trucks ahead of him, and he's definitely got a very strong truck. We saw that at Bristol. We saw that at Richmond, where he was able to move up, I believe, over 20 positions throughout the course of the race. So we have a very strong short track program, and I'm looking forward to see what Blaine can do tonight from a very advantageous starting position.
Absolutely, starting there in the 5th position here, but on the pole, it's Edgar Barreto in the 13. Web Racing Enterprises starting to pick up a little bit of speed maybe here in this series. Of course, they've had so many mechanical issues, but they finally came through last week at Rockingham when Brian Webb went to victory lane in the Tier Y 200. Barreto himself finished in the 6th position, by far the best combined finish for that team all year. But they're far from the points lead. It's still Ludovic Charette, your points leader, 244 points towards the championship. Bruno Diacomo, winner of 2 races already this season, only 15 points behind. Nathan Stablin, this here is his home race, 24 points behind. Thomas Troxel, you see him starting 6th, is 25 points behind. And then the Season 7 champion Joe Rutkowski is 44 points behind coming into tonight's event. Like I mentioned, halfway through the season at the end of tonight's race. Going to be interesting to see who will be in the championship lead at the end of the night. Like I mentioned on the pole, it's Edgar Barreto in the number 13 for Web Racing Enterprises. Alongside him there, Nicholas Samadeo in the 23 trying to get his best finish of the season. Caleb Rose for Broke Boys Garage, best starting position of the year for him alongside Josh Williamson in row 2. There's your driver Matt. Blaine Keys to the inside of Thomas Troxel. Nathan Ormond starting 7th to the inside of Bruno Diacomo. And there's Nathan Staplin, who led quite a few laps in this race last year. He's to the inside there of Avery Alford. Go through the rest of the field here and see where we can find our points leader. Ludovic Charette there starting midway through the field in the 14. Diacomo in a good position to possibly take the points lead here at the end of tonight's event, considering the starting positions. We're going to go ahead and get these drivers to roll off here from IRP. Make sure everyone does in fact roll off. Well, Matt, you have a player in the game here for this race victory here tonight. Do you think Blaine's going to get it done, or will it be somebody else going to victory lane in this Lucas Oil 200?
I think Blaine's going to have a very fast truck and definitely have a good shot to mix it up. I am not going to do the funny and pick my own driver on the stream because that would be horrendously bad, and we all know how that ends. So I will pick the driver. I'm actually going to go that 24 truck starting behind him, Nathan Ormond. I think he gets the victory here tonight. Been lurking all season, and I think it's about time.
He had a great run at Charlotte 2 nights ago. He's been pretty good on these Friday night races, trying to rebound a little bit after last week. A great starting position for him. He's got a lot of other drivers ahead of him. Hey, it's going to be a fun night here. Only 50 laps, but it's short track racing here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. And we'll be halfway at the end of the night. We're green flag racing in IRP in the Lucas Oil 200. Edgar Barretta wasting no time. A good jump at the start for him right there. San Mateo did not get a good jump. That outside lane doesn't quite have the grip quite yet. However, you're going to see it right here. Nicholas with a great jump on the outside as Blaine Keys got loose on the inside lane in the one machine.
Yeah, Blaine just did not hold the bottom line there. And you saw San Mateo and Josh Williamson would absolutely haul in the mail around him on the outside. Trox is now going to get the outside shuffle, and we see that a lot here at these short tracks. You get stuck on the outside, you're either going to find that one little lane of grip, or you're going to end up going backward, and we're seeing that early on here with some drivers. These three trucks, nose, bumper to bed, all sorts of stuff. Igor Barretto's loving what he's seeing behind him here, and look at Stapleton moving through the field early.
Yeah, we got 3 wide here. This Micah Napa and Aaron Abel's going to go around there into the corner with Thomas Troxel. And that'll be our first caution of the night here at IRP. A little bit of a jam up there. Chris Reynolds, Derek Hamill, and Eric Drew, but nothing too serious. Is that Bruno Diacomo? No, that's Andrew Miller down the pit lane with an issue in the 41. Barretta will win the race back to the line. I'm pretty sure guys like Caleb Rose, Nicholas Amadeo are glad to see that. Barretto had a 1-second lead already on the field. This is going to be interesting. Like I mentioned, a 29 to 30 lap fuel run. They cannot make it from here on out. So with that in mind, I doubt we're going to see anybody come down the pit lane. Tough break there for Andrew Miller, who came down early on there in the race. Had a good run at Rockingham last week. Had a good run at Charlotte. Doesn't look like it's going to be a good run for the Ryan Durrani Incorporated driver here tonight. He's going to move himself back on the lead lap right there. He's going to give himself another lap. It's not going to be on the lead lap, though. Nobody came down. But it was Aaron Abel, Eric Drew, Derek Hamill, Chris Reynolds getting caught up in that one. Troxel got a bit of damage as well. He fell back tremendously. And Troxel came into this race 4th in the championship standings. He's going to fall behind if he doesn't regain that back. But still early on here in this Lucas Oil 200. Let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the first caution of the night here. The Turkey Hill Truck Series at IRP. Well, you're going to see right here. 3 wide. Just doesn't quite work, and Mike and App just gets squeezed right there. I don't think Aaron Abel realized he was there, and Troxel scraping that outside wall as well. And that 05 machine going around. Thankfully, not too much happened after this. A couple of guys jammed up, but thankfully, the majority of the field was able to avoid this 05 here in this accident. Gets right there with Fitzwater. Actually, Andrew Williams sideswiped the 93 just a little bit right there, and then Fitzwater, Chris Reynolds, Eric Drew, Derek Hamill kind of jam up a little bit, but thankfully, a mild accident. No one's going to be taken out of the race from it. And as a matter of fact, every driver's still on the lead lap from this accident as well.
We'll watch that 05 truck here. Been in some short track calamity this season. I've been in the booth. Gets up in Troxel. And then we're just going to watch a log jam with some trucks come bashing in here. Doesn't look like too much damage here for the 05, so I think he's going to still be good to carry on here and race some more, but tough luck there for him. And we will see how this pit stop cycle we will see how this race plays out from here with Barretta leading.
And a pit stop cycle, more than likely. We'll have to see how that ends up shaking out as well. Edgar Barretta, your race leader. Let's get back to racing here in the Lucas Oil 200 at IRP. We're back here at IRP after a little fender bender there in the turn number 1. Edgar Barretta has led every lap so far here tonight. Looking to make it 2 in a row for Webb Racing Enterprises. Got Caleb Rose in 2nd. Nicholas Amadeo is 3rd. Josh Williamson is 4th. And Blaine Keys rounds out the top 5. Let's see where Brian Webb is. Not too bad for the 99 after winning last week at Rockingham, 14th. And right behind him, our points leader there of Ludovic Charette in 15th. The way they currently run, Charette would still remain the points leader, but Diacomo would gain a few points as he's going to restart in 8th. But Igor Barretto, I'm sure he's hoping that all the mechanical and tire issues this team has had is done for the season, and they can run to their full potential from here on the Christmas Day at Homestead. Green flag back in the air, 41 to go, and San Mateo already making a move for second on Caleb Rose. He wasted no time there.
Caleb Rose got caught sleeping by San Mateo, and now he's going to get caught sleeping by Josh Williamson. Igor Barreto's loving watching these two go all the way, get around that 33 truck. Now we see Blaine Keys is going to get a run here to the bottom. This 72 with a powerful restart. Igor Barreto, though, checking out here early. Blaine Keys to the bottom of the 33. It is getting spicy on this restart.
No doubt about it. Keep in mind, we still have a cycle of pit stops left to go in this race, and no mid-race break either, so if we remain green, it'll be a green flag cycle, and that could get dicey. We did it last year, though, without any issue. Nathan Stapleton led a majority of this race last year. His home racetrack, one of his home racetracks, I should say, the Indiana native. Currently runs top 5. Caleb Rose fell back 4 positions right there. And now Bruno Diacomo all over his back bumper. Mike and App running top 10. And then you got Eric Monaco, Trey Bartow in the top 10 as well. Orman slipping back there in the 24s. He's stuck on the outside lane. Back up front. How about Stapleton making a move on Blaine Keys there for 4th? You know, Stapleton feels he's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder, I feel like, coming into this race, because he led so much of that race last year. Then Laura Chung came through late in the going, took it away from him. And here he is with another opportunity of possibly getting it done. But his teammate running strong, Josh Williamson there in second.
That 72 and the 61, the Dodge Ram Power here working their way around this short track. Definitely have 2 very good short track trucks and 2 very good drivers behind the wheel. Now Stapleton gets by Keys. Keys put up a good fight there, but couldn't hold up on that outside. Now we'll see if Stapleton can keep moving his way through the field. He started, I believe, 8th or 9th, so he's made some ground up here in that 61. Definitely moving his way along, but up front, that 72 starting to reel in that 13 truck of Igor Barreto.
He is. Good run here for Josh Williamson. Of course, a lot of mechanical issues for this team in the past couple of races as well. You know, we've had a lot of that this year with the same drivers and teams having mechanical issues. Drew Webb, his team, you know, obviously we know the story there, but Josh Williamson, these guys here, Stapleton has not had near as much of an issue with that Triad Racing organization, but Williamson has. I think the past 2 races he's had a tire go down or has blown an engine, and he currently sits pretty deep in the field, actually 20th in the standings, but has lost a little bit of ground as of late because of all that. But he's closing in here for the race lead on Igor Barreto. And remember, the Darlington race a couple months ago, second race of the season, Igor was leading that thing near the end, or before the cycle of pit stops began, midway through the race, I should say, and blew up while leading. Right now, it's been a clean race for him here in this number 13. And everyone's still in the race. Andrew Miller, the only one, 3 laps down.
And this 72, well, it'll be interesting to see what Josh Williamson and that team does. You don't have to necessarily get by Barreto here now. You can just hang with him right around the top side of this racetrack here and then try and undercut him in the pit lane here. We'll just see how that plays out. That 72 has a good pit crew. That 13 has a really fast truck. And Igor Barreto holding his ground here tonight. Really strong showing from the guy whose cup program went absolutely bonkers this fall. But he's having a good run. That 72 just keeps getting closer and closer. I think maybe Josh going to use the bumper here.
It's possible. We could see a bump and run here at IRP. Definitely a place that encourages that in a way, because the best groove is midway through the corners, not at the bottom, not at the top. So you got to be a little creative in making some moves. Nathan Stapleton, a little creative here on Nicholas Samadeo for 3rd. Watch out for Stapleton in terms of this championship battle this year. I feel like that 61 definitely has something for Diacomo and Charette, especially as we move throughout this season. He's got the experience on those guys tenfold, and right now he is the highest of our top 3 drivers in points. But Williamson, I want to go through the field, but I don't want to miss a pass for the race lead. But you know we're going to get it if we move away from the field. That's what happened last week when Barreto took the lead from Stapleton in that one, but neither of them ended up getting the win there. It looks like Barreto's going to pull away a little bit here. So Stapleton there in 3rd. Blaine Keys is 4th. Nicholas Samadeo down to 5th. Caleb Rose remaining in the 6th position. And you got Bruno Diacomo in 7th. Trey Bartok, Juan Rodriguez here in the top 10. And Mike and Knapp rounding out the top 10 there for Big Motorsports. Eric Monaco, Avery Alford, our last winner of this race. Last year's winner here of the Lucas Oil 200, Laura Chung, in the top 15. There's Joe Rutkowski to the inside of Ludovic Charette. Brian Webb, Logan Williams there battling for a position. Nathan Ormond looks like he's back on the inside lane about midway through the field. Shane Lake, Andrew Williams, Casey Nanico there. Roberto Crown Jr., Sam Oskin, Sebastian Kukulon, Noah Clifton. There's Troxel. He has not rebounded from that accident. John Andrews, Ethan Lewis. The 05 machine there of Aaron Abel. Derek Hamill. Andrew Miller is 3 laps down. Rogel Dorn, Eric Drew, Zachary Fitzwater, Chris Reynolds, and Philip Torres. That's how they run throughout the field right now. We're just about halfway here, and Williamson is still all over the back bumper of this 13, and here we go. He's peaking. Not enough quite yet for the 72.
He thought about using the bull horns there to push to the bumper of that Silverado and just can't quite get enough space there to make the pass, but he's all over the the deck lid of that 13 truck. We'll see if Josh can get he's getting right there, right to the back bumper. Will he put the ram horns to the back of him? We're going to see. He gets down to the inside. That 13 truck makes just the tiniest little mistake here in the corner, and he's going to go somewhere not in front of this race anymore. We got a little bit of a gap there, though, coming off the corner. Going to give him an opportunity to maybe give himself breathing room here for a few laps. And these two have absolutely checked out from the field of Nathan Stapleton and Blaine Keys, who have separated from the rest of the field as well. So we're seeing a lot of the field really start to spread out here. And that pit stop coming up is going to be interesting because tire fall off. Maybe we see some lap trucks late in the race. It can get very interesting.
Absolutely. Igor Brito has clinched the bonus point for the most laps led here tonight. I have a feeling, though, that this race is going to play out kind of like how Rockingham did last week, where we have a dominant driver early on. We go through the cycle of pit stops, things shake up a little bit, and the caution comes out, and then we have a late race restart. However, Williamson is going to try it right here on the 13, and I think he might get it as well. That 13 really washed it up the corner, and Williamson will clear on lap 28 of 50. And just as he clears, he's going to come down the pit lane, so he's not even going to get a lap led here. The Triad trucks are coming down, and Barretto stayed out right there.
This could be a costly mistake from Igor Barretto, staying out that extra lap. The two teammates of the 72 and the 61 of Stapleton and Williams coming in. I think that was Thomas Troxel in already ahead of everybody, so that'll be interesting to see how much time he can gain. The only real advantage Barretto's going to gain is having that extra lap on his tires, but it's a short track. It's not like you're going to burn them too much. See, as this stop goes on, 4 tires, I'm assuming, for everybody here. And this is the money stop.
Absolutely. Josh Williamson here in the 72 machine. We'll see where he comes at in relation to everybody else here. Of course, he was the first one down as well, so keep that in mind, Burrow. Barretto's got to be careful as he comes in for his pit stop. Able to avoid everybody there. And Williamson checked out right there on the field. Chris Blaine Keys and Stapleton were already a little ways behind him, but it's going to be interesting to see where Barretto ends up slotting in line here, because that 72 might have an advantage coming down a little bit earlier. We'll have to see if that is in fact the case. Barretto's coming off here.
Oh, there he goes.
Yeah, that 72 is going to drive right by him. Gonna make it look easy as well. Aaron Abel, is he on the lead lap? I have a feeling. Oh, caution. Caution is out. Oh, and Andrew Miller is going to hold up. Oh, my goodness, Andrew Miller moment of all time. He held up Williamson. And Barretto, I believe, is going to win the race back to the line. That happened to Drew Webb in a race over the Cup Series season. I forget which one it was. It was the finale. It was the finale at Darlington. It was the Southern 500, and he was leading the race. My goodness, this team cannot catch a break. It's one thing after another for Josh Williamson, mechanical issue or something like that. He had to slow down to avoid Andrew Miller, and it gave way to Igor Barretto taking the lead back from him.
That is what we call some NR shenanigans if we have ever seen it. I don't even know shades of some South Boston chaos here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. And that is a wild card, save your race kind of moment for Igor Barretto, because him having to slow to avoid the 1 and the 61 heading into the pits lost him the lead, and now with that wild card, he ends up back in the lead on, ironically, he's going to have to hold off the 1 and the 61, but goodness, what a turn of events here at IRP.
And you know what? This race is playing out exactly how Rockingham played out, essentially. Only we didn't have something like that happen where the race leader ended up losing positions. Hey, at least for Williamson, he's still in the race, top 5. How about this top 7 or so? We really got to give credit to these names. Of course, Igor Barreto in the 13 leading. Blaine Keys is second. Nathan Stapleton is third. Trey Bartow there in fourth. Watch out for Bartow. This team, Beacon Quantum Racing, they're the owners, leaders right now. Ludovic Charette, Trey Bartow, Kyler Sustry, the owner of this team. First ever run on the channel as a team, and look at what they're doing. Now, they got 2 pretty solid drivers, but they are strong. Josh Williamson is 5th. Laura Chung won this race last year. She is now 6th. Nicholas Samadio in 7th. You got Juan Rodriguez, Joe Rakowski, Mike Knapp, the top 10. And then you got Diacomo and Ludovic Charette there. Top 2 drivers in points. 11th and 12th right there. Of course, Charette still in position to retain the points lead going into the halfway mark of the season. That was interesting. Let's see what happened to bring up the second caution of the night. Andrew Miller going around. Thankfully, it happened after the cycle of pit stops, and nothing goofy happened there. Igor Barreto, your race leader. Let's see how it all went down for our second caution of the night here at IRP. Well, I said that we were through the pit cycle, but technically we weren't. Andrew Miller, who was already 3 laps down, remember he had the tire go down right at the start of the race, came down earlier on. He's coming down, Chris Reynolds is coming off. 2 things cannot exist in the same space at the same time, and that's what happened there to the 41. And with cars all over the racetrack, it was enough to trigger the yellow flag for the second time tonight. Thankfully, the race leaders were all done, but that 41's right in the middle of the racetrack. These guys trying to avoid it. You know, this 72 of Josh Williamson, he started slowing down well before he needed to. And you see the reaction that he had there. Almost got involved there, but you see right there, the 13 surpassing the 72, and Williamson's going to end up restarting in 5th here for this restart with 15 laps to go.
So you watch that 41 truck goes down, just died, and I don't know, man. You gotta have a little more. I get the rush down pit road. Gotta be a little more cautious there. You see Josh Williamson, I just don't. I don't know what that was. I don't know what Josh Williamson. I get wanting to avoid the wreck, but it's gonna send him back a few places here on this restart. Here was a little too cautious backing off here, but Barreto, Keith, Stapleton. This should be a fun restart.
I think it will. Let's see who gets it done. Barreto's been the dominant guy of the night. He's got an opportunity at getting this race victory now that Williamson had his moment of old time right there. Let's see what happens. 15 laps to go here in the Lucas Oil 200. Let's see who gets it done at IRP. We're back here at IRP here on a Friday night. It's been a fun race here in the Lucas Oil 200. It's been a fun race for Igor Barreto. He's led the most laps. He's going to get a bonus point towards the championship for that. His teammate won last week after this team, Web Racing Enterprises, they were dead last in the owners' standings going into last week's race at Rockingham. So many mechanical issues on their part, but they are finally getting it back together. Blaine Keys there, your driver, Matt, in second. Hey, a couple weeks ago when we had, who do we have in the booth for that race? We had Stewart, never mind. I know we had an owner in the booth recently win a race when they were in the booth. I can't remember who it was. I think it was, I don't know. We didn't have Stewart in the booth for that race. We had Travis. I'm losing it, guys. Don't listen to me. Nathan Stapleton there in third. Trey Bartow. Josh Williamson, who was the race leader, fell back to 5th. Nobody out of the race except for Andrew Miller, who was caught up in that accident, and the 3 of Eric Drew is a lap down. Here we go. 15 to go. Stapleton. Watch out for Stapleton. That's 61. He was really quick there before the cycle of pit stops. He's going to get around Blaine Keys there. Going to try to close in on this 13 for the race lead.
He caught the 1. Blaine got caught napping there a little bit. Now Stapleton's going to get all sorts of momentum here, but Blaine's going to get to the back bumper of Stapleton in the 61, which is going to allow Igor Barreto to go get himself just a little bit of a cushion built up here. That 18 truck of Trey Bartow in 4th is still lurking. Sam Menio's back in it. Uh-oh. It's going to be a 3-way dogfight. Here we go.
They got to be careful We've already seen an incident play out here tonight. Actually, we've seen two of them. What am I saying? They've got to be careful not to get into each other, but that 61 is clearly faster than this 13 right here. However, I think Barretto has one lap fresher tires. We'll have to see if that does, in fact, come into play. But I don't know. This 61... Williamson was able to make the move on the 13 earlier. We'll have to see if his teammate can make the move on Barretto for the race lead. But no movement right now. That 61 staying in line, but he's only got 12 laps to go to make the move for the race win.
He's only got 12 laps, but a lot can happen in those 12 laps. He's just staying right in the tire tracks of that 13 truck. And we'll see the hometown hero. This crowd is cheering. You know he wants to win here in front of his hometown crowd here in Indianapolis, Indiana. He's just following that 13. All three of these trucks are just perfectly in line with each other. One of them makes a mistake. One of them is going to get punished for it, and somebody's going to be able to capitalize. And I feel like that 61 is going to be in the prime position to capitalize on a mistake here, whether it be from Keys. Here. Oh, here he goes.
He's got him. He's not peeking. He's not peeking. The inside lane has definitely been more dominant tonight than getting stuck on the outside. So if I'm Nathan Stapleton, I want to try to make that move when I can. And he had a good opportunity to do it there and just did not capitalize on it. Bartow trying to hold off Williamson and Samaria behind him, and now Barretto pulling back away in the 13. There's a tight battle right there, but it's not over yet. Stapleton's going to try to reel him back in, and he will reel him back in right here. Finding a lot more grip than that 13 machine.
He's all over the back of that 13 truck here. Barretto gets himself just a little bit of a cushion, but then the 61 just closes right in. They just can't seem to get to... There's not really a true bottom lane at this racetrack. We're seeing them run the middle top group, but nobody's going down to the bottom of the racetrack to make a pass here. So there's all sorts of space to do it, but nobody's really been using it below that lower white hash here tonight, and I think you're going to need to be a little bolder if you want to make this pass. Stapleton's all over the back of the 13. Got him as wide as I think he's been on this run, but just wasn't in the position to capitalize on it. And now he's going to get... Everybody's going to space out a little bit here, catch a breather here before these final 6 laps. And we'll see who's got what here, but the clock is ticking here for Nathan Stapleton if he wants to get this victory here tonight.
No doubt about it. Remember, early at the Rockingham race last week, it was these two guys who were battling up front. And Stapleton led the majority of the first part of that race, but Barretto got him at the end. We'll have to see if that ends up being the case. Barretto's been the dominant guy of the night. He started on pole, and NR Shenanigans gave him the race lead back here in this one. It's 5 laps to go. Point of no return as well, so if we were to get a caution, that would end the race. But the race is far from over. Stapleton still there, trying to get that arc into the corner so he can be right on the back bumper, but he's not been able to make the move. Someone blew up. Avery Alford in the 38. Oh, and he missed the pit lane. That could get dicey. We're still green here at IRP, but I'm sure Igor is hoping that becomes a caution. We ended under caution last week as well. Here we go. Stapleton's got a shot. A good arc into the corner. He might have an opportunity at peeking down right here. Oh, he's all over the back bumper. Will he make the move? He will not. It's just a little too content right there.
Gonna have to put the bullhorn to that Dodge Ram into the back of that Chevy Silverado if he's gonna want a chance to win, because that 13's not moving up off the those hash marks to give him enough space to just make the pass. Stays in his tire tracks here. He'll get the cross flags 2 to go here at the stripe, but I don't know if Stapleton's got enough left in the tires on that 61 machine here. But 2 to go here at the stripe. We see, as we say, it's short track racing. Anything can happen.
I thought he was peaking there, but he didn't quite have the momentum. Blaine Keys has fallen off just a little bit right there from this lead battle. Williamson trying to close in on these guys. Bartow's fallen back to 8th, by the way. Here we go. White flag next time by. Here in the Lucas Oil 200 at IRP. Stapleton, he lost a little bit of ground right there. It's not over yet, but it's going to have to happen going in the turns 3 and 4. He's going to have a good arc here in turns 1 and 2. Stapleton trying to close in on Igor Barretto. Barretto's going to pull away just a little bit right there. That might do it. How about this run for Igor Barretto and Web Racing Enterprises? It's going to be 2 in a row for this team after they were dead last in owner's points. Edgar Barreto wins the Lucas Oil 200 at IRP.
And he had to withstand every ounce of pressure here in this race. Did not fold one bit to Nathan Stapleton. Gotta tip your hat here to Igor Barreto. That was an absolute sensational, cold as ice in his veins drive here tonight under the lights. He's going to come out of here back-to-back wins here for his owner, Drew Webb. A fantastic run of races here for them.
No doubt about it. Brian Webb, see where he ended up finishing. 24th. Not as good of a run for Brian, but still 2 wins in a row for Drew Webb, the owner. Hey, Drew Webb, he's successful no matter where he is. I mean, this team has been running so much better than their points standings suggest, and these past 2 races have absolutely shown us that. Man, Stapleton, just a little bit more aggression. I think Stapleton would have had it, though, because that 61 was faster. But hey, here's the big thing. Stapleton's going to close in on Charette and Diacomo in this championship. Diacomo's going to gain a couple points. Charette's, still going to be the points leader, but at this moment in time, it looks like those 3 drivers may be the 3 who fight for this championship in the last half of the season. Take a look at the rest of the results right there. Avery Alford blew up. It says accident. And then Andrew Miller, we saw what happened to him. He's out of the race, and Eric Drew ended up finishing a lap down. Everybody else finished on the lead lap, though. A pretty solid night. A fun race at that, even though we did see a pass for the race lead on the racetrack, but then it didn't register on the leaderboard because that driver ended up coming down the pit lane to start the cycle. A fascinating race here at IRP. Always have a lot of fun here, and hey, we're halfway through the season now. Matt, who do you think is the championship favorite after watching his first 9 races here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series?
Well, I mean, we've seen all season, it's so far in the championship, it's been the Diacomo and the Dovic Charette Tour. And I still think they're favored, but you look at the next couple of races, Watkins Glen, Pocono, Dover, Iowa, Chicagoland, and then you get to Martinsville, Vegas, Talladega, the penultimate race of the season, and then Homestead. You're going to see some short tracks, some short high-speed ovals, some road courses thrown in here, and anything could go here. You got to like the speed the 61 team showed tonight, but you got a lot of big ovals coming up. I think it's the puzzle is wide open right now. We see the players, but I don't think any of them has a clear-cut advantage after tonight.
It's going to be fascinating, too, and who knows, we could end up with some new players as these ratings start to take form. I mean, if what happened in the beginning of the season did not happen to Webb Racing Enterprises, I'd say Igor Barreto and Brian Webb have a chance, but the season's not long enough for them to recover from that, I don't feel like, unlike with what Drew Webb had in the Cup Series. So, hey, it's going to be a lot of fun. These last 9 races, and Matt just listed off those tracks. I feel like the second half is always better than the first half. We got some great tracks coming up, including next week at Watkins Glen for the Lake Effect Ice Cream 175 next Saturday at noon Eastern Time. That's going to be a blast there for the only road course of the season here in the Truck Series. Then it's Pocono and Dover. Hey, we're finally going to Dover here in the Truck Series. My home racetrack, figured we might as well go there. And then Iowa's going to be a lot of fun. Chicagoland's always a banger. Martinsville, I think you know something about Martinsville being good, Matt. And then we got Las Vegas, Talladega, Homestead. So many great races as we lead up to Christmas Day and the finale here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series in just a couple of months. Edgar Barreto wins it here at IRP. First win of the season. First win as a driver in a while. He's got quite a few as an owner, but definitely a great win for him right there. And we'll see how the points shake up here after this Lucas Oil 200. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. Congratulations to Edgar Barreto on his race victory. And on behalf of Matt Tuck, I will see you guys later.